Hey there. So today we have another update, and this is my day three of being in New York. So I thought I'd give you guys a quick update. Um, well, actually, right before I came on this trip, I actually got like 4 days sick with a stomach flu. That was absolutely insane. This most sick I've been in a long time, even worse than COVID. So that was absolutely terrible. So I tried to take the first few days easy. So that, might not be a lot of activities. If you hear me talk about New York, um, yeah, that was terrible. So flew into New York on a Monday. Flew into JFK. JFK is actually relatively easy because just like a lot of cities, you actually can take it like an air train um, to Jamaica, and then you have the subway. So that was relatively easy versus LaGuardia. You actually don't have that option. I believe you have to take a bus or figure something else out. I'm actually staying with my brother in Bedford Stuyvesant, Bed-Stuy for New Yorkers, and yeah, it's a pretty cool neighborhood. I've actually stayed here before, sitting at a place for a friend, and it's an up and coming part of town. It's pretty cool. It definitely is not as developed as Williamsburg for sure. Williamsburg's like completely gentrified, but this area like is definitely has a lot of the old culture, and then obviously a lot of young people moved into this area. I will say it is very bodega friendly, so that is one of the cool things. I've literally almost every other meal have had pretty much like a breakfast sandwich from bodega. For you guys don't know, they're like basically a deli. It's an everything kind of store that has like little groceries, this and that, knickknacks, and then but they do have a flat top bread, and then all the cutleries and delicatessen stuff. And so yeah, that's been absolutely fantastic. So first night, actually went to meet up with a friend, and we went to Forma Pasta Factory. So if I had to recommend top five, top 10 restaurants in town to go to for quality to value, there's very few things that beat. It's actually in Greenpoint, right by Tourist, like literally a block away. So I highly recommend it. It's casual dining, so it's like order at a counter. You get a number and you sit down and they bring it over to you. But it's fresh made pasta with made to order with delicious sauces. I mean, if you go to a decent restaurant, Orlando, New York, wherever, um, you're looking at, let's say, like one of my favorite dishes, like pappardelle bolognese. You're looking at what, $18 to $26 at Forma, $13, and then daily special 16. Just absolutely insane. It's just so good. Again, quality to value, like I highly recommend it. So went to Tourist, so one of the most famous beer bars in the country, or at least New York, and they actually had Anna and Heady Topper, so I had those, which is crazy. I flew all the way to New York just to have Vermont beers, but those are two beers that I still have to do a video about. But those are two of my six desert island beers, like two beers I would want to have for the rest of my life. And I had those two, and then I actually got to take off Halfway Crooks and Human Robot. The Human Robot beer really impressed me. If you guys don't know, Halfway Crooks is out of Atlanta, making some of the you know tastiest pilsners in the country, and I haven't had to try them yet, so got that. And then Human Robot's relatively new, and they're out of Philadelphia, and they actually have three locations, and their Czech style pilsners are on point. At least the one I had was absolutely insane. And then actually stopped by Lake Street Dive Bar, and if you guys don't know, Lake Street Dive is actually a band. It's actually one of my favorite bands, and they do like mid-tempo indie pop rock, like groovy kind of catchy songs. So I recommend them if you don't know Lake Street Dive. So, but yeah, I went to the bar just to grab a drink, whatever, and that was my night. So took it easy, and then day after that, um, what else did we do? Geez, now I'm like, well, obviously breakfast involved going to bodega, getting a sandwich, blah blah blah, and then actually got to go to, well, actually I also had Shake Shack too, but Shake Shack's pretty useless because I have an Orlando too, but Shake Shack's absolutely amazing. And then actually went to Endless Life. So you guys probably don't know Endless Life. Endless Life is Jeff Lyons, who is former brewer from Keg and Lantern, which is actually right there by Tourist if you want to check out a brewery by Tourist. And I actually met him years ago before we were both in the industry. So he actually wasn't even working there, but they got a tiny little like nano brew kind of setup, and he's just making some clean, delicious beers. He's making, no hazy IPAs. Actually, I don't believe there's a single IPA on the menu, which is actually pretty crazy. But a lot of saison kind of stuff, and then a lot of just clean, drinkable beers like pub ale, cream ale. Um, I think like I guess a Helles. Um, I had a what was it? Just a really delicious dark lager that he did with 5 boroughs. So clean, delicious beers, small, tiny little, cute little tap room, and it's actually fun to see the diversity there. It was like basically like 5, 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. So I mean, it wasn't busy, but like I believe I was the only like guy there out of like 10 people. The rest was just females, which is great. I love diversity. That's absolutely cool to see a brewery not just loaded up with just all dudes that are like 25 to 35 years old with beards that are white, and the stereotypes. So it was really fun to see that. Got to meet up with my family, blah blah, and then actually I had nothing to do, so I was like, I want to try some of the local bars nearby. So I just stopped by some of the local bars. Just took a walk, basically, like through Bed-Stuy into Bushwick almost, and then I do recommend this bar called Yours Sincerely. It's been around for quite a while. Um, Actually, like was there like basically when they opened, and it's a fun concept in the sense that it is a like fancy kind of cocktail kind of program, but it's all pre-batch and they do it on draft, and then they modify everything. They like good ice and blenders and all this other stuff, but it's a very simple kind of concept where like everything's pre-batch and then they serve it like that. So if you like that kind of cool concept and some really tasty cocktails, I highly recommend it. And then their entire tap list was actually 4 beers, and they're all from KCBC. It actually had one of their IPAs, and so there's beer involved. Really tasty beer, really tasty hazy IPA, and sort of tracks with what I tried from KCBC that was sent down to Florida. They send beer down to Florida too. So KCBC is actually producing some really delicious hazy IPA. Because I will say, I will be drinking some hazy IPA this week, so we'll see where my brain tracks on like what the quality of hazy IPA. But I find that like this is a subject for like a longer video. But I find that hazy IPA has really gotten not juicy anymore. They've stayed hazy, but they've really moved towards like green juice, if that makes any sense. Like like if you go to like a like a a juice place, a lot of times like what they'll throw like spinach and all the, these hazy IPAs have started tasting like grass juice, spinach juice. If you threw endot, like all the green, like literally just vegetable juice. Like no offense, like I don't drink hazy IPA for it to taste like vegetables. Like I want it to taste like mangoes, papayas, peaches, apricot, like right, like passion fruit, like those fruits, not vegetables. And they've really pushed towards like just vegetable, like chunky, which is all good stuff, like creamy, thick, chunky vegetable juice instead of like fruit juice. So anyway, that's a rant. And then after like doing a bunch of bars, I mean, hell, it was very late. It was I will say like it might have been past 1 a.m. And I just rolled up to a bodega, and like for $7 I got like a roast beef sandwich. Like was so good, like so simple but so good. Like I was like, hey, just give me like mustard, roast beef, cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, boom. And like I was just sitting there. I was like, first off, it's like in the middle of the night. There's no reason anything should be open. Like most cities in the world, like there's nothing open. And I got like the most tasty sandwich, and I was like, I can't even get this kind of sandwich in most places during the day, right? Like, and the part of it I want to say is just bread. Like the bread here is just good. Like you go to so many places, even in Florida, like you go to like a sandwich shop, some of the bread just stinks. Like a part of it is that like a lot of bread in a lot of places I've noticed, it's more like Subway bread than like New York bread. Basically, Subway bread, like there's so much sugar in it, and it's like it literally it's almost like basically what a Subway bread for me, in my opinion, it's almost like an edible napkin. Like they've literally just they all these toppings are what you're supposed to eat, and like they've given you edible napkin, and if you crush it up, it would just stay like that, like a whole piece of bread, and you could just shrink it into nothing because there's no chew, there's no texture, there's nothing to it, there's no texture, there's no you're not eating anything. It's an edible napkin. But if you get a roll from like one of these bodegas, like if you try to squeeze that thing, it would actually be like a sponge and like push back on you. Like you actually have to, like I was eating that sandwich like whoa, like I have to chew this thing, like it's more akin to the texture of a bagel than like baby food. So yeah, one of those things. So like that's the crazy thing about New York. Like as late as you want to be, like if you can find one of these bodegas and get yourself a sandwich, you're in good shape. So um, I guess I really didn't get too much done today, but I'm about to meet up with a bunch of people at the Grand Delancey. Very excited about that. We're doing the meetup, and about to head out the door. So that's a quick update. Not much happened so far, but I have a lot of other stuff to do coming. So I'll give you guys an update. Hopefully, maybe I'll post some like shoot some content while I'm out as well. Until next time, guys. Cheers later.